And welcome to another edition of Texans Unfiltered, a Houston football podcast for your Houston Texans. I am young Ari Gold, and I am currently solo as I record because nobody else is able to get into StreamYard. I don't know. They have like computer issues or something like that. They can't get in. They can't stream. I'm just here doing my thing. I didn't even mean for that to rhyme. That's just what happens with me. It's just I drop bars as often as possible. Rumpelist Ill win. Is that how I would say it? Rumple still win. Bang. That's actually pretty interesting. I've never until now taken the time to actually see what your actual username is. And you're my guy. So that's awful of me, considering how often we talk on Twitter. So pretty shitty. Welcome to another edition. Super excited to be here. Super excited to talk to you guys. Lots of great things going on. Lots of big things happening for Texans Unfiltered. So many good things. I need to quiet my Slack channel because it is super loud. So we're going to pause it for 2 hours. So there we go. The best. What's up? Joseph Lopez. What's up? All right. So I guess people will trickle in here at some point. And if they don't, then we're just going to rock all night solo. So nothing. See, this is the thing, bro. This is the thing. When I look at the usernames like Jay Sinista, I'm assuming is how you would pronounce that. Bro, I'm from LA. Okay, I don't like the Dodgers. I root for the Astros, but LA is home. It's home, bro. I rep Houston hard though. I don't know why y'all give me so much shit for it. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. So big things happening. Got a lot to talk about. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like Sinister Six or just like Sinister? Okay. Yvonne Godfrey, what's up? All right, so let's get into kind of what we got going on. Obviously, you guys know where you can find us, but we're going to go over this anyways. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at HoustonFBPod. You can follow me on Twitter at I am Young Ari Gold. That's IAMYOUNGARI Gold on Twitter. Don't forget to follow our content creators, Texans _thoughts and Texans _draft. They are the guys bringing you the heat on the website, which would be www.texansunfiltered.com. And we're bringing a ton of heat tonight. I'm super excited about this show. We got a lot that we kind of pulled together last minute. COVID-19 update. I'm still being as cautious as possible. I am not looking to go out there and get the Rona. And yeah, I'm not doing anything. I'm just staying in the house, cleaning up the backyard, whatever it is that I can do to maintain a busy lifestyle. Recently did my office. As you guys can see, we are no longer in the place where I lay the wood, as one of the lovely listeners pointed out on the survey. They didn't like that they saw where I laid the wood. So at least Mrs. Carlson is happy, right? So that's it. That's it with the COVID-19. Real big updates right now. So Patreon, we made a massive overhaul on Patreon. This is going to be where we hope that you guys can go and support us and make our dreams come true. So they say as a podcast host, you're supposed to be vulnerable. Well, 4 years ago, we never thought that this would be where we're at. Building, press credentials, growth, all that stuff. And now we're at a point where it's like, okay, things are really starting to go. We're making it a business. We're doing all sorts of different things. So with that being said, our call to action for tonight's podcast is for you guys to support us by going to patreon.com/Texans Unfiltered. Okay, there's 5 different tiers. You guys can choose whatever it is that you prefer. I understand that things are tough right now. We had a long business meeting about asking for Patreon support and things like that with everything that's going on in the world as far as COVID-19 and layoffs and things of that nature. I'm right there with you guys. I'm pretty close, I think, to getting laid off I have to say within the next month, as we are losing money like every week, and it's millions of dollars. So I totally understand $1, $5, $15, $25, $50 tiers. Lots of cool things that you guys get in there. The tier, Cody, shut up. Anyways, first one, just $1 a month. We'll take the pocket change. Whatever you guys can give us, we appreciate that. We're truly just happy to that you guys are willing to give us $1. It's awesome. $5 per month, you support us. We thank you for that. First chance to purchase Texans Unfiltered merchandise. Hats will be rolled out within the next 2 weeks. We have 3 shirts currently being made. You'll have rolling credit throughout the YouTube stream and exclusive Discord role for question and answering. So you can come in there and ask us questions at any given time. For the $15 a month tier, you get everything in the $5 a month tier, plus a weekly bonus content video, which we are recording tonight. We are going through all of the MCU films in chronological order. So we are starting with Iron Man, which we all just watched as a team. So it'll be me, Jordan, Dylan, John, Cody, and Preston, all discussing Iron Man. As you guys know, that's my favorite. So we'll be doing that. And then your podcast questions will be answered first on the stream and podcast. So what that means is when other people put in their questions on Twitter and things of that nature, Patreons will always go straight to the top. So as you guys know, there's times where we can go through all of them, and then there's times where we just can't. And on those times, we're going to be able to answer our Patreons first. So the other tier, $25 a month, you're part of the Brotherhood. You will receive all of the benefits from the previous 2 tiers that I mentioned. You will get a live post-game reaction video Sunday night. We might even put it out as a podcast specifically on the Patreon page. So that way you guys can hear our instant reactions, whether we're pissed, happy, or pissed and happy. Who knows? But that's what you guys would get from us. And then you also have the opportunity to hang out with us and other Patreon fans before we record. So we can come on, we'll come on 20, 30 minutes beforehand, give you guys an outline on what we're looking to record. You guys can ask us questions, give us topics, and we'll break it all down. And you guys can be there hanging out with us while 30 minutes before we record. And then the last tier is a $50 tier. And I understand that this comes off as, a monster amount. But what I've realized is building what we've built that, people are willing to help and grow and watch us grow and say that they were a part of that. And that's where the $50 a month thing comes in. So you get all of the previous rewards from all the other Patreon tiers. You get a monthly signed piece of merch. That's wrong. Preston has that wrong. You don't get a monthly signed piece of merch, but you get a signed piece of merch. Invitation to be a special guest on our live stream. And then this is the best part. You guys get a special podcast from us directly to you. That's it. We make the podcast and it only goes to you guys. Nobody else. So that is not a podcast that we get that we will put out for anybody else. It'll be solely just for our Patreons. So, that's our new Patreon. We appreciate it. We love everybody. We thank you for all the support. Yes, Cody and I will be doing a rap podcast. We're not going to do an actual rap podcast. We're just going to break down the greatness of Kanye West. And we'll probably go album by album. We'll start with College Dropout. We'll put out, a pod or something on the Patreon. Then we'll go and we'll do Late Registration. Then we'll go and do 808s and Heartbreaks. Then we'll do Graduation. Then we'll do My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. And then we'll do, let's see, what was after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy? Watch the Throne. And then after the Watch the Throne, we'll do, Life of Pablo. Then we'll do Wyoming or Yay. And then we'll do Kids See Ghosts. And then that'll be where it ends because we're not doing the Christian stuff. I just can't do that. So that's that. We appreciate everybody's support. Thank you guys for everything. Honestly, I hate to be like the guy that stands up on the thing and says like, oh man, we couldn't be here without you guys, but really we couldn't be here without you guys. Like you guys have played a huge part in what we're doing. Carlos, what up? Aaron, what up? Sergio, what up? So we appreciate you guys and we appreciate what you do. And I'm so shocked that this is where we're at. So thank you guys for that. Thank you guys for just being here during our stream, talking live while we talk about all things football. So, all right, tonight, lots of things going on. Got some things changed. Obviously, real quick, big shout out to Pro Football Network, our newest partner. They have us on their website. We are going to be partnering with them on our website, and they're going to be powering the podcast. Nothing changes for you guys. You might see some ads sprinkled in there here and there and all that stuff. But outside of that, that's it. It just expands our reach, gives us the ability to work with another football network, which is a bigger up-and-coming football network owned by two great guys that work really closely with me. So really excited about that. I don't know where my phone is, but these lights are pretty bright. Anyways, so yeah, thank you, Pro Football Network. You guys can check us out there. You guys will see the podcast there as well. All right, so that's that. 9:10, 9:25. I'm supposed to be joined by a guest. He should be in here any second. While he does that, I'm going to turn off some of these lights so that they're not so bright. And yeah, we'll be joined by a guest. We have everybody coming on the pod today. We're going to do a little bit of a little Pat Storm. We're going to do a little bit of yes, I'm from LA humor. So originally, let me tell the story because I feel like I have to tell the story often. But I grew up in LA. I was born in Houston when I left when I was 2. My mom and me got in a car and we just left. Get away from my real dad. And then I grew up in LA. Met my stepdad, who's technically my real dad. I don't look at him as a stepdad. I even hate saying that because I feel like it's derogatory. Grew up in LA, a huge Laker fan. My dad took me to Dodger games for every Father's Day, and I got it fitted on my head when I was 10, and I never took it off, and it was a staple of mine. You can ask John. For the last year, I've tried with the Astros hats. I've tried every single design. I made a commitment to him to try to put it out there, and I just can't do it. Like, LA is me, and Houston is me, and so you guys got to deal with the best and the worst. So you get some LA, you get some Houston, and that's kind of what it is. So
I even looked everywhere to find you a couple of really cool Astros hats.
I have them all. I have the Apollo. I have the Astro World. I mean, I have them all, John. What other hats could you guys give me? I mean, I can't do it. This is me, and this is my staple, and this is what I'm known for. It's how Chad knew it was me when he ran into me at the airport. Like, it's just who I am. So that's that. So, all right. So I already ran through Patreon. I ran through everything. So glad for you to finally show up, John. Thank you for that. Here we go. So people are here just for Pat. They want to hear the news that Pat has. That's pretty crappy, Like, why don't you like and subscribe our stuff and just show up? You have nobody else doing what we do at the level that we do it. So hit that like and subscribe button, and you'll get your Pat news. Don't worry. It's coming. Pat's supposed to be here at 9:10. Maybe you should shoot him a DM. It said 9:10 to 9:25 on the outline.
It did. He's 5 minutes late.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. But yeah, we'll see. All right. So let's see. I went out for I think that's everything on the outline. The Patreon is fully updated. Anchor supporters, Ryan and Swan specifically. First of all, thank you guys so much for supporting us the way that you guys do on there. That's awesome. If you guys could switch over to the $15 tier on Patreon, that would be awesome. I would really appreciate it. That way we can move over to another RSS feed and add ads away from Anchor. So if you guys don't mind, whenever you have time, if you guys can make that switch, I would really appreciate it. Also, the James Palmer interview came out on Monday, in case you guys haven't listened to it yet. Thank you, Ryan. God, and Ryan is my financial advisor too. He's just an amazing guy. He also, this little piece right here, right there, Ryan made that. Yeah. What have you guys in the comments made me? Nothing. Exactly.
I'm liking the new setup.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah, it's not done yet. But it's getting there.
We're getting there. You're still missing something very important, but you're getting there.
Yeah, the David Johnson signed jersey will go right above all of that. But yeah, no, super cool, man. Of course I have you on the wall, Ryan. I got my TV set up and PlayStation set up. I got the Love Sack chilling so I can play video games and record. Yeah, dude, I'm almost fully official. Almost. Yeah, what more do you want? Shut up, Cody.
We're just trying to kill time until Pat shows up.
Yeah, Pat's never showing up, and I just put it in the Slack. Like, if they could just click the link. That's it.
Yeah. I sent him an email.
Joshua, I'm from LA. Don't know what to tell you, buddy. Okay, I've been here since. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Getting a little punchy.
If this was an Astros podcast, you'd have something to hang your hat on. But this is a Texans podcast, and I am not a baseball fan, so it's just where I'm from. That's all it is, but all it is. But I still love you. All right. Well, you know what? Well, Pat. Here we go. Look at that. Oh my God. Looks like a real video game like background.
Oh, relax.
That's kind of scary.
You like it?
Oh, black, and then you got like the American flag.
Memorial Day weekend.
He's pandering to Texas. He knows what he's doing.
Come on.
No, I know. Yeah, you are. All you need now is a picture of Jesus Watt.
You want me to go get my picture of Jesus Watt? He's on the
I
other
don't
side.
want to. My wife hung up a poster of JJ in the background, and I took it down. I don't like JJ. It is what it is.
I'm really sorry for being late. Like, I was trying to figure out how to get in here, and Slack wasn't working on my computer, so
it's all good.
I was late too,
it's all good. Oh yeah, John was late. I was here, on time. No big deal. All right, so
out here by himself. That's all
big.
good.
I held it down. I got us to 58, people. So what can I tell you guys? All right. So Pat's here to break some news, some things interesting that are going on within the Texans organization. We all know the news already, but luckily for us, Pat was patient and waited to put it out live here on Texans Unfiltered stream to give you guys the news and tell you guys what's going on. So with that being said, I'm going to hand it off to you, Patty McPatterson.
All right, so there's been a lot of question about how the direction that the offense is going to go, and everyone's been wondering what kind of stuff Tim Kelly's going to do. And so yesterday was talking with some people, and James Palmer actually kind of hinted towards it on NFL Network, but he didn't go like fully into detail about what's been going on. He mentioned that the players have been kind of meeting through like Zoom meetings and stuff like that, and kind of going over things on what they like and what works best for them with Deshaun Watson. But they're also doing the exact same thing with Tim Kelly. And Tim Kelly is kind of molding obviously he's going to build the offense around what Deshaun Watson's really good at. But he's taking every single skill position guy and asking them, what do you like? And going with what works best for them. So he's doing what works really good for David Johnson. He's doing what works really good for Kenny Stills, for Brandon Cooks, and so on and so forth. So he is going to basically take their input, all the skill position players' input, and that's how he's going to build the offense. So it's not an offense that's going to be designed by specifically Bill O'Brien and Tim Kelly. It's designed pretty much by the players. So they have a massive input on what is going on the field. And I think that's going to be really cool because now you're going to have these guys that they know exactly what's coming. They know what route they're going to be running. They know how everything's going to work, and it's going to work for them. They're doing exactly what has worked for them, and exactly how they've been successful at certain points in their careers. And so that's exciting.
No, that's
a question. Did you happen to follow up how different it was than from what George Godsey used to do? Because remember
it's going to be completely different
article from 3 years ago where they talked about Hoyer and him would go back and forth, and he would send back texts with like the dollar signs and the thumbs up about plays that they liked. Is it similar to that, or do you not know?
No, so I mean, that was like they were kind of on the same page about what they thought was going to work. But now you've got it's kind of like the play that Hopkins and Watson went to Bill with in the playoffs, where Hopkins flicked the ball to Watson to score the touchdown. Right? It's going to be like that. It's kind of this backyard football is really what it's going to be. And so I think it's wow, you don't care about wearing? It's like that.
I don't care about wearing. I don't understand why everybody is so fascinated with Kahali wearing. Good God. It's so annoying.
He's done nothing in the NFL.
He's a physical freak at a small-time Division III college.
Hey man, he played water polo.
I don't care. I don't care what he did. Everybody's like, oh, yeah. Like, who cares what he does? I want to see it on the field. And until then, he does not warrant a discussion. That's all it is. He warrants no conversation. We have Akins and Fells. The other two, they can figure it out, in my opinion. Anyways, this is all great stuff. I think, this kind of goes towards kind of what we've been saying for a while, is that we expect this offense to be different. We expect them to really come together and basically build the offense and implement it in a way that's going to take advantage of the skill sets of all of the weapons we have. I was looking at the 2018 Los Angeles Rams offense the other day, and that's what I expect this offense to be. Jared Goff threw for 4,600 yards, 32 TDs, They had 2,200 rushing yards, and it was just group production. Robert Woods had 1,200 yards. Brandon Cooks had 1,200 yards. Cooper Kupp had 850 yards. Their tight ends combined for 700 yards. So that's what I'm expecting, and that's what I think we're going towards is kind of really just seeing what this can do. And also one of the interesting parts about this that you didn't get to yet was the fact that he's also going to the position group coaches, right, and talking to them about the skill sets from the individuals and what the players do in those positions specifically that fit that skill set to bring to this offense.
Yeah, so the whole scheme is going to be built around the players. Like everything, if Fuller is really good at go routes and Cooks is really good at an out route and stuff like that, that's how he's going to mold it. He's going to he's building it how they want it to be built. And so they have so much input on it that it's going to be, it's going to be their offense. It's going to be the players' offense more so than Tim Kelly's.
No, it's great. So for everybody that was worried about Bill O'Brien coming in and basically just running his offense the way that he wants to, it sounds like the reins have been passed on fully to Tim Kelly, and Tim Kelly has he has all the responsibility around the offense. I'm sure Bill O'Brien has some input. There's no way that there's zero input.
Are they building the plays from scratch, or is this still based off the Bill O'Brien playbook?
That I don't know. That I didn't ask. I guess that's kind of important to know. But I mean, I'm sure there's still going to be some stuff in there. It's not going to be a completely, redesigned offense. I think there's just going to be kind of like how Anthony Weaver said. A lot of the defense is going to be, or some of the defense is going to start to get exotic. I think we're going to start to see some exotic offense, and things of that nature.
Don't drop that exotic smash mouth.
Interesting. No, that's all good. All good news. All good things that we wanted to hear. I mean, for everybody that expected a lot from Tim Kelly in the presser, he's a Bill O'Brien protege. He's learned from Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien is his mentor. He's not giving you anything in the press conference. You're not going to have any clue, any idea what they're thinking, what they want to do. The only place you can get that is anywhere that Pat Storm is, and luckily with us, he's here at Texans Unfiltered. So we're very fortunate to have the news, and I think it's great. I think it's exactly what we were looking for. Fans should be excited. I'm sure once you tweet it out, your mentions will go from there'll be some great, awesome, this is what we were hoping to. Yeah, but he gave away DeAndre Hopkins for a totally of 1 second and an old aging running back, bro. And, those guys, not much you can really say.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the thing is you look at, Hopkins was a big part of this offense, a huge part of this offense.
Too big.
But and Watson relied on him way too much. And I think now Watson has more targets than he's ever had. He has more weapons than he's ever had. And someone made a really cool reference earlier. It's the exact same thing. It's kind of the same scenario he had at Clemson. He has weapons everywhere around him now instead of just one guy. So,
the biggest thing is the fact that when Will Fuller gets hurt, there's no drop off. There's no drop off because there's backup with Brandon Cooks, and with Brandon Cooks coming in and stepping on the field to fill that void of Will Fuller, you still got Kenny, you still got Cobb. I mean, there's so many weapons. It's just ridiculous. That's why.
Look what Randall Cobb did last year when that offense was prolific with other guys on there. He still put up north of 800 yards.
Yeah.
So, I mean, people say he's old and he's washed. Man, 800 yards as a slot receiver is incredible in this league.
Yeah. I mean, it's more than any slot receiver we've ever had.
That's for sure.
And Deshaun loves the middle of the field. Just
that's where he dices up defenses in the middle.
That's exactly where he dices up defense. So if anybody wants to go look at next gen stats, you'll see a pretty interesting statistics around his middle of the field throws. So awesome, Pat. What else you got?
Really, that's about it right now, man. It's quiet on a lot of fronts. I mean, a lot of people have been asking about the safety position, and how they're going to roll with that. There's still a really good chance they bring in another veteran before camp. They've got to see how things are going to unfold, realistically getting players back into the building first. So I think that's
any updates on Jernigan?
No. So he hasn't taken a physical. He hasn't officially signed with the team. The plan still is for him to sign. Sorry, my daughter's eating in the other room. But yeah, so the plan is for him to still sign with the team. I don't think there's anything we need to really worry about there.
Well, I'm worried about your daughter.
She's fine. She's faking it.
Okay.
She's doing it for attention.
She's the dramatic one.
Yep.
I have one. I have
Just
one
like
of
the
those.
mom.
I have one. Oh. Hopefully she's not listening.
I just got the worst look ever.
Interesting. Well, Miss Storm, just know that you're loved here at the Texans Unfiltered podcast and website. So, all right. Well, Pat, thank you so much for joining the stream tonight, and thank you for giving us all the info. We appreciate it. We look
Thanks
forward
for
to
having me
having you on again here shortly.
Absolutely.
All right. And with that being said, we have our AFC South rosters. So John put together this, and this is very well put together, John. I'm very surprised that you did this. It looks great. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
So much love. You're in a mood.
I'm in a mood today. Yeah, I'm in a mood.
I really got to you about that hat.
Oh yeah, I don't really care about that. I just other things. All right. So this was interesting. So we want to play Would You Rather. And now most of you guys have played this game, and usually it involves drinking and women and all sorts of other things around you where you say, would you rather, and I'm not going to say those things, but those are typically what come out of your mouth during the Would You Rather game. Well, we're going to take it to a positive place in a nice, comfortable, professional environment. And we're going to discuss, would you rather each position.
Marry, date, dump.
Yeah, I used to play the Would You Rather or Have I Ever.
Or Never Have I Ever.
Yeah, we can't do that. I don't feel comfortable doing that with the dude by myself. So we're going to do Would You Rather and go through each position with the Texans, Colts, Titans, and Jags. So we'll alternate. I'll go first, and then you can list the next one, and we'll go from there, all right?
Sounds good.
All right. Would you rather have wide receiver Brandon Cooks, wide receiver T.Y. Hilton, wide receiver Corey Brown, or wide receiver Chris Conley?
I believe you meant Corey Davis.
I said Corey Davis.
You combined Corey. You said Corey Brown. No worries.
Oh, yeah. I was wondering why A.J. Brown wasn't there since he's like the number one. But go ahead.
Well, for the most part, I believe healthy Brandon Cooks is still better than all of them, including T.Y. Hilton. T.Y. Hilton has always been hyper reliant on Andrew Luck. Granted, he's done all right, but it's just not to the same level. Whereas Brandon Cooks, granted, he's played with a bunch of really good quarterbacks. He's produced wherever he's been at. Corey Davis, even though he was a top 5 pick, has been a little bit of a bust. Chris Conley, he's been fun, but I mean, really, he's not on the same tier as the other guys. For the right side wide receiver, we've got Kenny Stills for Houston, Michael Pittman for Indianapolis, AJ Brown for the Titans, and DJ Chark for the Jaguars. Who would you rather have?
AJ Brown.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I love Kenny Stills, and I think he's an underrated wide receiver, and I think he's very talented. But second-year guy, AJ Brown, who showed so much promise last year, I would have to go with AJ Brown over Kenny Stills, and it's unfortunate. But like when you look at the other guys, like Paris or Michael Pittman Jr. has promise, but we don't know. DJ Chark, kind of like a one-trick pony. So I'd much rather have AJ Brown, and it hurts me to say that, but I have to keep it real. I'd rather have AJ Brown.
Definitely.
All right, left tackle. Oh no, I'm sorry. Slot wide receiver: Randall Cobb, Paris Campbell, Adam Humphries, Dede Westbrook.
This is a tough one for next year. I would still take Randall Cobb, even though this sounds like a homer pick, because he's established. Paris Campbell looks to have all the potential in the world, but he didn't do anything last year.
Well, he got hurt too.
Yeah, he did. Adam Humphries, he's always annoying. He's been hyper annoying when he was with Tampa Bay. I think that he's a good fit for the Titans, but he didn't really do much for the Titans last year either.
He didn't do anything.
This is Ryan Tannehill. He can only really throw to one receiver at a time, and he has decided that is AJ Brown with good reason. And Dede Westbrook, again, he's shown flashes, but no consistency. Very talented player, but not consistent at all. Out of all the slot receivers in the AFC South, I would say Randall Cobb is the one to take. Oh, Well, actually, maybe this isn't as easy as I thought.
Well, hold on real quick. Hey, guys in the comments, make sure you guys are answering with us. We'd love to kind of see what you guys think as well. This isn't just for us. So we'd like to see who you would rather have. So make sure you guys drop them in the comments. Go ahead, John.
All right. Next up is left tackle. You get Laramie Tunsil from the Texans, Anthony Costanzo from the Colts, Taylor Lewan from the Titans, and Cam Robinson from the Jaguars.
This one's so simple.
That Cam Robinson's not in this debate.
Yeah, Cam Robinson's not in the debate. Taylor Lewan's not in the debate because of who he is off the field. It's an interesting.
For the boys.
He's so annoying. It's interesting because I don't think people realize how good Costanzo actually is unless you actually watch him play. But he still is not on Laramie Tunsil. He's just not. He's not Laramie Tunsil. There's one Laramie Tunsil. So I would have to go with Laramie Tunsil. Plus, we just paid him all that money and gave up 2 first-round picks. Who am I to say that we can have Laramie Tunsil now? So I'm gonna have to stick with Laramie Tunsil. All right. Next one. This one's pretty easy, but let's see what you say. And this guy showed a lot of promise. Left guard Max Sharping, left guard Quentin Nelson, left guard Roger Saffold, or left guard Andrew Norwell. This is very interesting, John, because this might be the best position group in the AFC South. I don't think people realize how good, even though he had a down year with the Jags, Andrew Norwell is really good. Roger Saffold is really good. Quentin Nelson is the best in the league. And then Max Sharping had a solid rookie year. But you got to go with the best, and it's not going to be much of a debate here.
Yeah, unfortunately. If there was one player on the Colts that I could still, it'd be Quentin Nelson, and I love
Absolutely.
him. This is no disrespect to Sharping, but Nelson's just on another level.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, and it sucks for us because he's on the Colts. But yeah, but I would say that I'm surprised left guard is an incredibly deep group in the AFC South. There is a lot of talent there. This is no disrespect to anybody else, but Nelson is just a very, very good player. Next up is the centers. We've got Nick Martin on the Texans, of course, Ryan Kelly on the Colts, Ben Jones, an old friend on the Titans, and Brandon Lindier on the Jaguars.
Nick Martin, Ryan Kelly, Ben Jones, or Brandon. I probably have to go Lindier. He's the best center out of these 4, but I'll say this, just from a consistency standpoint, it's Lindier. But if we get Nick Martin that we got last year, then I would have to go with Nick Martin. But until I can see that he does it for another back-to-back seasons, I'm going to go with Lindier because he really is a great center. I don't think people realize how good he actually is. Ben Jones was nasty though. I would agree. All right. Next up, right guard. Zach Fulton, Mark Glowinski, Nate Davis, or AJ Cann.
We go from a relatively deep left side to
poo-poo.
Not quite as deep on the right side. Honestly, surprisingly, because I know everybody's willing to drop this guy, Zach Fulton had the highest pass blocking grade of this group. Even though I know everybody's ready to get rid of him. AJ Cann is probably the most talented, but he struggles with injuries. And I think Glowinski, who was horrible until he came to the Colts, has actually been the most consistent. But I'm actually going to go with Fulton. Take that pass blocking because he's actually does it at an above average level, where everybody else is just kind of eh.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it on here multiple times. It's the hate for Zach Fulton is only because everybody else on the line is extremely good. So you have one weak link and you think that they're automatically trash because everybody else on the line is great or above average. Fulton actually, and the numbers just recently came out with Pro Football Focus. He's stellar in pass protection. He's just average in run blocking.
We would have an offensive line full of Fultons.
Absolutely. I agree.
Quickly we forget because he's just solid. He's not spectacular. He's just solid. And, everybody kind of forgets about that. Moving on to tackle, we have Titus Howard on the Texans, Braden Smith on the Colts, Dennis Kelly on the Titans, and Juwan Taylor on the Jaguars.
So here's another one that I don't think people realize this tackle is actually really, really good, is Braden Smith. Braden Smith is a solid right tackle and has been for at least the last 3 years. Zach Hicks is so high on Braden Smith, and when you throw on the tape, he's nasty, dude. So I loved what Titus did for us last year, and I do think that he is high. I think like he's high up there with potential as far as Howard, but I would have to go with, unfortunately, another Colt. I would have to go with Braden Smith. And hi, Vicky. Hi, Vicky. Okay. My turn. Okay, now we're getting to the tight ends. We're getting to the more weapons. All right. Tight end, Darren Fells, Jack Doyle, Jonnu Smith, or Tyler Eifert?
Jonnu Smith. He's just a physical freak. Jonnu Smith, he's the guy that, he took a handoff as a tight end and just slashed us on that first Titans game when we were actually trying. He has been underused, but this is year 3 for him. I expect him to actually break out and be an absolute headache. But yeah, Jonnu Smith is a hell of a player.
Yep, I would agree. I would agree. I mean, I don't know if I'd take Akins over Jonnu Smith.
Well,
but I'd take Akins over anybody. So
well, I'd split them up into blocking tight ends and
sure,
and move tight ends essentially. So the next one up would be our move tight ends: Jordan Akins, Trey Burton, Anthony Fersker, and Josh Oliver.
Nobody should ever have to ask me this question. I don't even. Okay, let me ask. For those that watch the show or listen to the podcast, what would my answer be? Drop it in the comments. Let's see how much you guys actually pay attention. Okay. Thank you. Correct?
We got somebody.
Correct, Jeremiah, because I am in love with Jordan Akins. I would take Akins hands down. I think Akins is just I think he has untapped potential. I think he's just going to shred it this year. I'm super excited to watch Jordan Akins play.
Let's actually save this next one for the last one in the offense.
You guys have your keyboards in place because it's going to be interesting to see what everybody's answer is on this next one. Quarterback, Deshaun Watson, Hall of Famer, Phillip Rivers, Ryan Tannehill, as John likes to say, and Gardner Minshew II. John, who you going with?
Deshaun.
Really?
Yeah. Rivers.
Wow.
Good career, but let's be honest.
I mean, I'd take Baker over Deshaun.
No, you wouldn't.
I sure wouldn't. I wouldn't take anybody over Deshaun. I wouldn't take Mahomes over Deshaun. I really wouldn't. I don't say that because I'm a homer. I think that Deshaun is a better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes. So, yeah, I just had to ask it. It was King. Yeah, it was a question. We had to ask it.
The easiest question of the entire roster breakdown. Which quarterback would we rather have in our division? There's really no argument. Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in the AFC South.
Yeah, there's no conversation to be had. Let's move on to the next one.
All right, next one up is our running backs: David Johnson, Marlon Mack for the Colts, Derrick Henry for the Titans, and Leonard Fournette for the Jaguars.
So this one's tough for me because I believe in David Johnson. I've always been a fan of David Johnson. And I know last year didn't go the way that he wanted it to, and I know he missed 2017, but something just tells me that he has one more solid year in him. And if I'm looking at all these guys, right, Marlon Mack, injury histories, can't always be on the field, is a very solid running back, but it's more by committee, the way that they do it in Indianapolis. Obviously, they just drafted a guy very, very high. Derrick Henry, he's got miles now. He's got wear and tear. His body's going to start to break down soon. Plus, he doesn't fit the style of offense that we would be playing. And then Leonard Fournette is just he's a bum, kind of. I mean, honestly, like he hasn't been healthy since he came in the league. He misses games, gets suspended for like fighting. I'm going David Johnson. I think upside wise, I'm going to go David Johnson. And this is pure upside. That's the only reason. That's me, though. That's just me. All right. Ooh, fullback. Colin Gillespie, Roosevelt Nix, David Fluellen, Chris Thompson.
Oh, it's actually supposed to be Connor Slomka.
I was about to say, why was Chris Thompson playing fullback? Okay, Connor Slomka. Slomka.
I mean, it's fullback. The one that actually seems to have contributed the most is, you know what? Forget all that. I'm going with Cullen. This is a little bit of a homer pick because I know his potential and I didn't know him the best. And what he did on special teams last year was phenomenal. But the reason that I'm going to actually say it is that block that he did on the Buffalo Bills play.
Yep, that told me everything I needed to know.
That right there. We got to get him on the field more. Yeah.
Dylan woke up. Dylan's here. Dylan makes me happy when I see him in the little chatty chat. My boy.
The next group, we're going to start with defensive ends. Please keep in mind that the Colts run a 4-3. Everybody else runs a 3-4.
Can we change this from can we change this to can we do that? I don't see him on here.
Ross Blacklock?
No. Look at the sheet.
It didn't change. It says Angelo Blackson.
How about now?
Charles Omenihu.
There we go.
You're going to put him as a starter?
Yeah.
Okay. He's not currently listed as a starter, but that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
No worries. Charles Omenihu for the Texans. Kimiko Toure for the Colts. Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans. Josh Allen for the Jaguars.
Love Charles Omenihu. Love Charles Omenihu. Love him. I love Kimiko Toure. Just watched the film analysis and film breakdown with Zach Hicks. It was amazing. I think Jeffrey Simmons is going to be a beast for an extremely long time. But there's a guy in Jacksonville that I think just has a higher upside than everybody that was mentioned, and that's Josh Allen. I don't think anybody could take anybody else other than Josh Allen in this situation. He's just a monster, dude. He's a monster. You just can't – that potential and what you've seen just in 1 year, you can't not pick him. You can't. So Josh Allen for me.
Unfortunately, I agree with you. Jeffrey Simmons, I think, has the highest ceiling. But Josh Allen is the one that has already shown it, and he's an absolute.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the next grouping. Nose tackle Eddie Vanderdoes, DeForest Buckner, Daquan Jones, Avery Jones.
Well, I'm not. Here's kind of the problem when I pulled this. This is the official depth chart. Do we really think Eddie's gonna be our starting nose tackle? Are we really gonna run a nose tackle?
I was shocked that you put his name there because I don't think anybody in the chat knows who he is.
It's gonna be Timmy Jernigan when he's officially signed.
Either that or it's gonna have to be Blacklock.
Yeah, Blacklock's not gonna play the nose. He's gonna play defensive end.
He might have to. I'm saying in that situation where if we don't sign Jernigan, he's the only guy that has the size to potentially be a nose.
So
it'd be good.
I really hope we get to talk to Weaver one day because I am absolutely intrigued on what we're going to do with our tackle position. Yeah, I don't disagree with you one bit, Dylan, but right now he's listed as a starter, which is absolutely crazy.
And this is an updated depth chart? When did they put this out?
I pulled it from
March?
today.
Yeah, but they put it out in like March, right?
They probably put it out probably prior to the draft, to tell you the truth, because there's not rookies on it.
All right, so DeForest Buckner and Eddie Vanderdoes, Daquan Jones or Avery Jones, bro.
Well, if they were on the Texans, it would probably have to be Daquan Jones, but because DeForest Buckner plays under tackle, which is the undersized tackle in a 4-3, he would be a defensive end with us. Maybe. I don't know. He's kind of big. He still may play the nose.
Mark's got a good point. Why didn't you put Brandon Dunn there? Why'd you go based off the depth chart?
Because I was just making it fair.
Okay.
Because I didn't, with a lot of these guys that are on the back end of the rosters for the Titans and the Jaguars, I just wanted to make sure that it was fair, that there was something that we didn't understand. So I just went with the official ones.
Look at this.
Yeah, I'd actually put DJ Dunny before Eddie. But on this group, probably Daquan Jones.
Okay. Let's go.
The other side, defensive end, J.J. Watt, Grover Stewart for the Colts, Jack Crawford for the Titans, and Taven Bryan for the Jaguars.
As much as it kills me to do it, I'll take J.J. Watt. Because those other guys, I don't even know who they are.
Best players of all time. That painful on your hometown team.
Yeah. I've learned a lot about JJ over the last week. Everything that Pat said was confirmed by 3 other people, and I've lost a lot of respect for JJ Watt. So, I think he's selfish. But anyways, all right. Whitney Merciless, Justin Houston, Harold Landry, or Yannick Ngakoue. Yes.
Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, it's pretty easy. There's no discussion.
I mean, Harold Landry's a great player too, but Yannick all day. I would love to have Yannick.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, the Will, Zach Cunningham for the Texans, Bobby Oriki for the Colts, Rashawn Evans for the Titans, and Miles Jack for the Jaguars.
Oh. See, this was interesting until you got to the Jags. Or this wasn't interesting until you got to the Jags. And I love me some Miles Jack. I think Miles Jack is a stud. But if you thought I was going to take somebody other than my boy, who I was more excited about drafting than the year that we drafted Sean Watson, you're tripping. It is Zach Cunningham, hands down. Because he's only going to be even better this year than what he was last year and the year before. He's just developing so well right now. I think he's amazing. I wouldn't touch him. All right, Mike linebacker, Bernardrick McKinney, Anthony Walker, Jason Brown, Joe Schobert. By the way, Bobby Ukariki is Colts fans are extremely high on him. So just FYI, just to throw that out to you guys. All right, I'll do that again. BMAC, Anthony Walker, Jayon Brown, or Joe Schobert?
Actually, I really like Joe Schobert. He's one of those guys that traditional analysts do not like, but a lot of the modern guys kind of look at Schobert and look at his ability to cover. He's a really good fit for the modern day NFL. I think that he's going to be a pain in the tail. He's actually going to be able to run step for step with both the Johnson & Johnson, which is going to be really annoying. That brings us to the Jack linebacker. That's Brendan Scarlett, Darius Leonard, Vic Beasley, and Kevon Chasen.
Are we really doing that? Is that really how we're going to kick this off? Because you already know who's going to chime in as soon as we go through this. Mr. Fanboy himself. He's not letting you slide with that one. But you make the decision. You're the guy right now. This was your thing. You do it. So I'll let you list them off how you want to list them off.
What are you talking about?
Then what do you mean? Are you being serious?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
I just said I did the BMAC one, and then right below that name, you really want to throw that guy out there.
Yeah, Brendan Scarlett.
Oh,
Darius Leonard, Vic Beasley, and
ouch.
Kevon Chasen.
Okay, well, I'm not taking Brendan Scarlett. I'm subbing in Jacob Martin because Jacob Martin is going to be a 3-down player this year, and he is going to start opposite of Whitney Merciless, and he's going to have a double-digit sack season. But even with that, I'm still taking Darius Leonard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I might take Caleb on because I love him, and he's a Houston product, but I'm going Darius Leonard. He's a game changer on defense. He's kind of like a Clowney at linebacker, just runs all over the field. It's just, I mean, Darius Leonard's a freaking monster, dude. I don't think people realize how good he actually is.
He's a beast of a player. Just doesn't have the stats.
This one's fun. This should be a no-brainer. and he's the starting corner, and I like that. That's cornerback 1. Gary Conley, T.J. Carey, Adoree Jackson, or Rashawn Melvin.
Gary and Conley.
Hands down.
As long as he's played correctly, he's easily better than everyone else out there. Adoree Jackson, lots of potential, hasn't quite lived up to it. T.J. Carey, I feel as though he kind of gets by based on the scheme. And Rashawn Melvin, I mean, no. Just no.
It's Conley, hands down. Cornerback 1. I'm telling you guys are going to be screaming for us to sign into an extension come bye week in week 9. Screaming.
All right, next up we got our strong safeties. Currently, Eric Murray is listed as our starting strong safety. Kari Willis for the Colts, Kenny Vaccaro for the Titans, and Ronnie Harrison for the Jaguars.
Not a lot to pick from here. Kenny's not the same player that he was with the Saints. Still has some upside. Ronnie Harrison has been pretty solid for the Jags. If I'm going to go straight upside here, I'm going Ronnie Harrison. Yeah, I'm going Ronnie Harrison. I agree. There's a good chance that Murray is a sleeper, but I haven't seen him yet in the scheme, and I don't know how he's going to be used. So based on what I've seen, I would go Harrison. All right. Free safety, single high safety, just the safety in general. Justin Reed, Malik Hooker from the Colts, Kevin Byard from the Titans, and Gerard Wilson from the Jags.
This is
I already know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. You have to do it though. You don't have a choice.
The tough one. What do you think I'm doing?
You have to do it.
What do you think I'm doing?
You gotta take Byard. You don't really have a choice.
I love Hooker though. I don't think he's benefited from what the Colts try to do out there. But Byard, yeah, I mean,
it's Byard.
Yeah, it really is.
We love Justin.
It's Kevin Byard, closely followed by Justin Reed. I love Malik Hooker. I think that once they get him out of Indianapolis, because once he's out of Indianapolis, he's going to go somewhere and just do a lot better. But yeah, that's the way you got to go. Let's look at our other side of our cornerbacks. We got Bradley Roby, Xavier Rhodes, Malcolm Butler, and DJ Hayden.
Well, this team, the way it's currently constructed, has 2 cornerback 1s on its roster, and Bradley Roby and Gary Conley. Both I've been banging the drum on for an extremely long time. But there's one guy I've been banging the drum on for a very long time, and that would be former Denver Broncos cornerback Bradley Roby, who had a solid season for the Houston Texans last year. Missed some games. Roby's versatility, yeah, Ryan, it's almost like I read what you were saying. His ability to be able to play in the slot, play outside, very dangerous. He's quick. He's always in the hip pocket. May not have a bunch of PBUs, but he's right there to wrap them up. I'm going Bradley Roby, and it's without hesitation. It is without hesitation. All right. So, all right. So let's go slot corner. You don't have one for the Titans?
They don't have one listed.
Okay. Vernon Hargrave, Rock Ya-Sin, CJ Henderson from the Jags.
This is kind of a tough one. It's between CJ Henderson and Rock Ya-Sin. Vernon Hargreaves is the best athlete of the group. If he puts it all together, if he continues to kind of show improvement as he did, I think that John Reed is actually going to end up taking his spot, to tell you the truth. I'm a big John Reed believer, and so are our people. But out of this list, I'm going to go Rock Ya-Sin.
Yeah, I think Henderson has a ton of talent, but rookie. I liked what Rock Ya-Sin did for the Colts last year. It's kind of unfair because I read all of Zach Hick's work and I really pay attention to what the Colts are doing through Zach. So I'm kind of biased in the sense because I talk to Zach about these things a lot, and I think Rock Ya-Sin would be the guy that you have to take here. It's just me. All right. Let's see. So that was Would You Rather.
I'm putting together the final count. What do you want to do as the homer penalty?
What's that?
Well, because obviously we're biased towards our own guys. So obviously there's probably going to be more Texans to us versus if an Indianapolis Colts podcast did it, they'd have more Colts. So there's got to be some sort of like a homer handicap before I say our final numbers.
I thought I was being pretty honest, to be honest.
I was being as honest as I could too, but
I don't know if there's a
just
homer.
familiarity, and we know their upside a little bit better.
Okay, -2, Giovanni says. Let's do -2.
-2?
I like that.
All right. So based on this, and we tried to be pretty fair, I believe. We named 11 Texans, so 9 Texans, 4 Colts, 3 Titans, and 5 Jaguars.
That's crazy that we named 5 Jags. We named more Jags than we did Colts or Titans. That's nuts.
Yeah. And yet we are the weakest team in the division. Best quarterback. If you there is toss-ups. There's definitely toss-ups. But you would think that if we had the best quarterback in the division and where we're projected to finish 3rd in the division, that we would have, overwhelmingly other positions would just dominate us. But the fact that we're a little homerish, but it was that many more. And then there was that many toss-ups. It's like, are we really behind the other teams on talent level? This is all an attack on our coaching staff, which, I mean, they're rookies, so we don't really know what either one of those coordinators are going to do. But that's entirely what this is about. When you look at national projections, they're talking about our coaching staff. They have more faith in the Jaguars coaching staff. They have more faith in the Titans coaching staff, and they have more faith in the Colts coaching staff than they do in our own.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts. I mean, we're the worst team in the league if you ask anybody outside of Houston.
Yep. Second to last draft class, and the last place in just our overall off season. So we must be a horrible team with no talent.
Yeah, that's the way it feels. I'm going to say nay, by the way, Ryan. I don't think he gets paid this year. All right. We have 1 minute until Dylan hops on. So we finished with 11, 4, 3, and 5. That's crazy. Which ones were we tied on? Like, which one was kind of tight? So I took Brandon Linder. Nick Martin could have had that spot, but I mean, it just shows the depth of the roster and how good actually we are, like you said. I mean,
well, I would say even on the guys that we had as toss-ups, we typically aired on the guys that were not on our team. Typically. Actually, we had 12 because I did not count Randall Cobb. I didn't highlight him, so he didn't show up. We actually had 12. So,
word, and right on time. The hero, the man, the myth, the legend.
Punctual.
I like it.
That's my motto.
I like it. Texans_draft joining the Texans Unfiltered podcast as a member of the team. He has the right to do so at any given time. Dylan, talk a little bit about your prospect. Why don't you talk a little bit about what we did with Travis? I'm never going to say his last name, and then talk about your first draft prospect profile that you put out last week, and then why don't you give a little bit of a tidbit into kind of what you're working on this week?
Yeah, so I worked on last week. My first draft profile of the series I'm going to start where I put out a draft profile every week, shooting for every Friday. And Andre Sisco was the first one, the safety from Syracuse. And if you haven't read that, I recommend you read it. I just think we have a safety already, Justin Reed, who can kind of play in the box and play in free safety. And then Andre Sisco is kind of similar in that aspect where he can play free safety and play in the box. But I feel like they magnify each other's strengths even greater. So it'd be a great safety core if they can somehow pick him up. I know it's really early, but I'm just trying to project fits. But it's really fun to do and talk about the draft all year round. So if you want to go check it out, it's up on Texans Unfiltered as we speak.
So why don't you tell them a little bit about what we're trying to do with the prospect and the profiles, and kind of what the goal is of doing this every week, and kind of what, really why we're doing this.
The goal is just to build like a database of sorts. So when draft season does come around in March and April, and you guys are looking for what prospects the Texans could possibly be interested in. Those are all available. Those reports are all available, and they are contextualized to the Texans because in every draft profile, I will have a paragraph or two about how they fit with the Texans and their strengths and weaknesses, of course. So it's really a contextualized draft guide to the Texans, which is something that we have been needing as Texans fans for quite some time.
Yeah, and every year we all peruse through the draft guides and things of that nature, but none of it's geared towards Texans fans. Everything is just kind of out there, right? You know the strengths and weaknesses and what the players are, but they can't do fits for every team, right? And so what we wanted to do, and since Dylan's very good at it, was build draft profiles and then be able to give you guys a draft guide come February and March, where you guys can have everything there. And you guys can look at it and decide specifically around what the Texans' needs are, what prospects fit best. And a lot of people are already saying like, "Oh, Cisco, he's not going to be there in the first round." Well, or he's not going to be there in the third round. Injuries happen, things happen. Like you just never know what's going to happen with a player. He could easily be there. You just never.
Yeah,
you never know.
It's impossible to project where players are going to go right now, except for probably the top 10 guys. They're probably going to go in the first round. But even top 10 guys fall to the first round if they have an issue, off the field issue, which would probably take them off the Texans draft board anyway, but off the field issue or an injury.
This question is for you, Dylan. I think it's a good
question.
Yeah, right now, because we have a lot of draft picks right now, so we have no clue where we're going to end up picking. So right now, I'm just kind of starting to build a solid base of maybe some bigger name guys because we could end up in the second round with all the picks we have. So and a lot of these guys could very well be available in the second round if they have an injury or if they have a poor season. Like I know a lot of people were saying Etienne, no way he's available in the second round on our Etienne post, or the third round, excuse me. But we could easily be in the second round. And with the way the league is valuing running backs, he could easily be there in the second round for us. So except for the major big name guys, I'm just focusing on players that I like and I would love to have on the Texans.
Yeah, I think that's the right approach too. I think when you're drafting guys you like, it just comes more natural. When you're just kind of pulling from wherever, especially right now at a time like right now, there's no reason for us to go after fifth and sixth round guys because nobody knows who those guys are anyways.
Yeah, of course. Just like there's so many guys that aren't even on draft boards right now that will be with a solid season.
Yep. No, exactly. And then you have some articles and other things that you're working on right now for Texans Unfiltered. Obviously, you, me, and Jordan are doing our thing every Thursday with a prospect where we're watching film, we're breaking it down, we're talking about what we like. We just did it with Etienne. We're going to be doing it again this Thursday. Then we throw it on YouTube, and then you guys transcribe it and throw it on the website along with a play breakdown. What do we have coming up from Texans draft this week, and what have you been working on?
So this week on Thursday, we will have. We're gonna stream it at some time. We still have to work that out. Just keep an eye out for the time. We're gonna go over Micah Parsons, linebacker from Penn State, and me and Jordan settled on him because we did offense last week and we did defense this weekend. Micah Parsons is the guy that really affects the game. Again, he's top 10 right now. But we're just trying to build a base because, like you said, very unlikely that he lasts to the second or third round. But if he does, could be an intriguing option. And then on Friday, I'm going to a running back of my own that I really like is CJ Verdell from Oregon. Yeah, back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing 1,000 yards rushing seasons, and just another play I really like. So keep an eye out for that. And maybe later this week, sometime in the next week, I will be releasing a Randall Cobb article about how I think he's the slot receiver that Deshaun has been needing, a reliable target that Deshaun maybe has lost in DeAndre Hopkins. And I know you guys have, if you follow me, you've seen me tweet a lot about Randall Cobb. And I really like what he brings. Obviously, $9 million, he better bring some value. So I'll be breaking down Randall Cobb and kind of his fit with the Texans sometime later this week or next week.
Awesome. Well, Dylan, thank you for joining the pod, and thank you for all your contributions to Texans Unfiltered. You are obviously loved here, and we appreciate it. And we will be talking to you at 10:30 when we break down Iron Man.
Of course.
Awesome. All right, Dylan.
Have a good one, guys.
All right, so that is obviously one of our favorite writers. We only have two because that way we always have only two favorites, and the favorites isn't spread out, right? Dylan's doing really good work. I really hope you guys go and follow what he's doing. This is going to be very interesting. Oh, look at that, right on time. Right on time. Oh, not right on time. He just disappeared. We might want to edit. Yeah. Yep, I know. I'm okay. So yeah, in the Slack channel, it's the JJ Watt thing is getting people interested in kind of what I meant. You guys are gonna have to wait for the after story when the book comes out about JJ Watt. But oh, look at that, he's here again. There he is. It's the man, the myth. Hey guys, welcome back. It is Jordan. I'm breaking down some film for you today. Mr. YouTube star, Texans thoughts. Jordan, what's up, dude? I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. We talked all day. We talked a lot Friday, but then we just didn't talk this weekend. It's kind of weird. It's not normal.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. It's kind of weird. It's only been like a couple days, but it doesn't feel normal. You're right. But I'm doing pretty good. Enjoying the pod. It's been a great night so far. How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Doing really good. I'm super excited to have you on. John, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm here. After my technical difficulties, I'm just here. I'm here and laugh.
So, Jordan, obviously, this is the part of the segment where you come in and you tell us everything you've been working on and all the things that people can find. Is that a new mic?
This is the mic that I got before I knew you were going to send me one. It was literally, I bought it like a month or month and a half ago, and so I'm just trying it out now, so I'm going to see how the quality is.
Sounds good. No, it sounds really good.
Awesome.
Cool. Well, tell us a little bit about what you have working on. There's a ton of things that you're working on right now. Lots of different pieces. There's so much stuff that we're just trying to do. And you're in the middle of it all. So why don't you just kind of take the floor? I'm going to mute my mic because I tend to overtalk everybody and let you just kind of take the floor.
Yeah, for sure. So today I made the big announcement for my huge series that I'm starting called Watson Watch. And it's basically every week on Wednesday, I'm going to be breaking down. All right, screw you, Dylan. I'm going to be breaking down 4 of Deshaun Watson's games from going all the way back from 2017, so from his rookie season all the way to 2019, 4 games at a time every week, just breaking down what I see from him, what I like, what I don't like, and kind of documenting the progress that he's made and the improvement, because that's a big thing. Deshaun Watson was not a perfect quarterback when he entered the NFL. He's improved a lot, and he's still going to continue to improve. So I'm going to be going back from 2017 to 2019 and then continuing it through the 2020 season as well. So after every game, every Wednesday, hopefully I'll have the all 22 by then, be breaking it down, article up Wednesday. So that's going to be the Watson Watch. You guys should check it out. The first article will be out tomorrow, 12 noon Central Time. So that's going to be up. And then today I also wrote an article about the Texans' third down defense. And it was something that was annoying me since this past season. Honestly, since I've watched the Texans, since our defense has kind of fallen off, third down defense has not been great, and especially the third and long defense. A lot of people get on Rack for his kind of prevent defense, lining up everyone at the sticks and backing them way off and being real pissed off about that and it not working. But I found some really interesting things to conclude from that article, and the prevent defense wasn't actually that bad. So you guys should definitely go check that out. Also, it's sponsored by, not sponsored, but shout out to Kobo's Barbecue, a great small business that we're looking to support. So go check those guys out. The main takeaway from that article, though, was that every time that we rushed more than 4 defenders on third down, we were just way more successful in getting off the field. So hopefully Anthony Weaver looks into that and adds that to our defense. But so that's what I got for this week. And then next week, kind of building off of that article, I'm looking at Rex Ryan's defense and what Weaver can take away from that and the different schematic things that he can add. So that'll be out probably next Monday or Tuesday.
Awesome. Yeah. So the content king kind of right now really is Jordan. I mean, he's putting out videos on YouTube. He's interviewing players. He's, just kind of the man, the big man on campus right now. And I couldn't be happier sharing the limelight with somebody like Jordan. So it's awesome to be able to do so. The third down defense, it's a great article. And it's interesting that, how many times we actually only rushed 3 or 4 was just so disappointing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was actually really shocked by that. The numbers, we literally only blitzed 7 defenders one time all year, just one singular time, at least from my watching on third down and longs, which I classified as third down and 8 or more. So that's a lot of third downs in there, and to only be sending 7 defenders once, that's crazy. I believe it was 6 defenders just a handful of times too, maybe like 5 or 6 times. It was just absurd for me.
So your boy has a question for you, and it's funny because we talked about this a little bit today.
Yeah. So James and I are gonna dedicate a whole YouTube video to look at that 2017 Seahawks game where Deshaun, he put on a show.
Oh, he did.
It makes you speechless, honestly. Like, it was amazing. So I'm really excited to watch that. That probably YouTube video will be out next week to kind of tease the next 4 games that we'll have, and that'll be it for 2017, and then we'll get on to 2018.
Yep, absolutely. That's one of the more fun games to watch. I'm super excited to break that down. And Dylan, we will make you happy, I promise. Why don't you tell Blackie Tachi? God, some of these names are just it's so hard. Why don't you tell them where they can find you and us?
Yeah, so I do YouTube videos for the Texans Unfiltered channel. Have it right here. I've done a couple breakdowns. You have the Jonathan Grenard interview up there, and then also my own channel is Texans Thoughts. Simple as that. Just more film breakdowns there. Just a bunch of different platforms you guys can find me. More content is better, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, no, agreed. All right, and then I think we have some questions, right? Is there anything else that you need to plug?
I think that's all I got in plan for so far.
Do you want me to pull up your the questions and I'll ask you guys?
Sure.
Let's do that. That way.
Actually, I have them written down here, but you can.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Either way, however you want to do it.
I have them written down. All right. So first one I have from Texans Report. He asked, or she, you never know. Do you think we will end up with a first and or a second round pick? And if so, how do you see that happening? So for me, I'm just going to get first round pick out the window. I don't think we're going to get a first round pick because it takes a lot to trade a high player. Like the only player that we're going to trade that could go for a first round pick is like Deshaun Watson or maybe JJ Watt, but those guys are off the table. So in terms of second round pick, I could see us getting that. I looked up the picks that we're projected to have for next year. So we're going to have 1 third rounder, 2 fourths, 1 fifth, 3 sixths, and 1 seventh. And so with that amount of capital, I could definitely see us trading up. You know, Bill O'Brien he loves his trades, so I can definitely see us trading up into the second to really get the guy that we want for sure. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think I could see us potentially trading up into the first round, maybe. But I don't think there's a high chance of that. I think second round, I don't know if we'll get a second round pick. I think the only player that we have that would potentially be traded for a second round pick, maybe Bernard McKinney, but we're talking about like later part of the second round. Like we're not early second. So either that or maybe we package up some things to get back up into the second round. But I can't see. I don't see it. I don't see us doing either one of those. I think we're just going to stand pat and do what we can with the picks we have.
I think it's more likely that if we do anything, it's trading the picks to get in the second round. Just because Bill O'Brien has shown apparently that he doesn't like rookies. And we had a small draft class this year. Who knows if he'll do the same thing next year and try and keep pulling veterans in. But if we were to do anything, I would say we're going to try and trade some of those picks and move up to the second round. Otherwise, we'll probably just keep what we got.
Yeah. So I got a little situation here for you guys I just came up with. Say Gary Conley, he continues the ball out like we think he will. A midseason extension. He wants his money. He's gonna test free agency. He wants the max. He wants as much as he can. And what do we do at that point? We think that maybe we can't pay him. Do we want to trade him? Say if you can trade him for a second round pick, James. Sorry, I know this is gonna be tough for you, but what do you think?
I think they'll try to get a midseason extension done to try to keep him off the market. It won't give him top dollar, but I think he'll get a good contract. And I think that he'll take it just based on the fact that if he doesn't take it and gets hurt, he's going to be missing out on a lot of money. So there's definitely some things that the Texans can do as far as signing him to a midseason extension. If they wait till the end of the season, I've had this scenario in my head trying to figure out how it is that we're going to keep him. And I think what we'll do is we'll sign him long term. I think, a little bit less than Darius Slay money because Darius and like the top end corners that have really played at a high level for years, it's going to be hard for Conley to get that type of money because he only did it for like 7 games last year, and then he's going to be doing it for another season this year. I think it's hard for an agent to be able to go to a front office and say, now we want 18.5 a year. I just don't know if that's in the back of his mind something he feels he can get. So I think if we sign him to an extension, maybe 12, 13, 14 million. We play with him and Roby in the 2021 season, and then I think in 2022 when Bradley Roby has 0 dead money, we try to restructure, and if we can't restructure, then we cut Bradley Roby.
I'm pretty much in agreement. If he comes out and plays like he did towards the end of last season, then they're going to try and get a deal done. I can see him really being within the $14-15 million a year range, and that's part of the reason why I was upset that they didn't re-up his fifth year option, because 11 million versus 14 million. I mean, I think it may come back around and bite us. It just kind of depends on how he plays. If he reverts back to the Gary and Connolly that looked a little bit lost out in Oakland, then it's safe. But if he comes out and he just balls out, continues to play how he did, then he's going to get paid. Hopefully it's by us. However, he's probably going to want to test the market. Actually, with a player with a roller coaster career like that, if he's going out playing his best ball, he's going to try and get paid based on his best ball.
What do you think, Jordan?
I'm with you guys exactly. I think we can get it done. I think it's kind of like the Roby situation where Roby took a chance on us. Like, we took a chance on him, but he also took a chance on us to try and prove himself and see if this is a good fit for him. And just a 1-year deal, and he played really well, and he got paid accordingly. It was a very fair contract on both ends. And so I think if Conley looks at that and looks at what that situation did for Roby, it's the same sort of thing. He's got to trust in us that we're going to put him in a good position to succeed and ball out. And if he does that, we're going to pay him handsomely as well. So I think it all goes down well. I'm really excited. I hope he's really the cornerback, like kind of cornerstone of our future. The torch gets passed off from J-Joe to Conley. That'd be beautiful.
Yeah, real quick. So he's not the only defensive player that's going to have to sign for big money. Zach Cunningham and Justin Reed are both going to be due for big money. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. But as Dylan said, 1.5 million is dead money 2021 for BMAC. So it's pretty easy to sign Zach under what we paid BMAC, maybe a little bit more. And then Justin Reed and Conley. So, all right, what else you got, Jordan?
All right, next question comes from Rick Carr. Do you think the Texans finally make it over the hump this season and at least make it to the AFC Championship game or even the Super Bowl? So what we saw from last year is that we can hang with any team in the NFL. We took it to the Saints on the first game of the season. We beat the Patriots. We beat the Bills in the playoffs. And then we went up 24-0 on the eventual Super Bowl champions. So we were really this close to getting to the championship game. And we saw that on any given day, depending on what version of the Texans show up, we can beat anyone. And with the new additions we made, Ross Blacklock, Jonathan Grenard, David Johnson, Brandon Cooks, even more, and then the internal development that we're going to have, I have a lot of confidence in this team, even at this point in the offseason, with everyone dogging us, the media hating on us. The one thing that stands for me is Deshaun Watson, and as long as we have him, we're going to be okay, because he's genuinely one of the best backs in the league, like a top 5. I think he's going to be top 3 next season, MVP level for sure. You can put money on that. So with him, I definitely think we can get to the AFC Championship game and the Super Bowl for sure. What about you guys?
Yeah, I agree. I think with people, there's like you're either a homer if you defend the Texans, or you're a BOB hater. I am just in the camp of like, we have Deshaun Watson, so I just don't care about anything else. I know that he's good enough to get us to wherever we need to go. So the other stuff just doesn't matter to me. But then when you look at the stuff that, like the options and weapons he has around him, and the chance this defense really can't be worse than what it was last year. So I think Houston has the opportunity to go to the AFC Championship or to the Super Bowl. See, I disagree with this, Cody. I disagree with this 100%. You could say the same thing about Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy. Mike McCarthy's play calling all throughout in Green Bay was awful. Aaron Rodgers never had enough weapons. And yet, guess what? They won a Super Bowl. Great quarterback play can overcome bad coaching. It's just the way the league works. It's the most important position in sports for a reason. John, go ahead.
Yeah, and y'all nailed it. It's all about Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson this year should actually take, in my opinion, he should actually take a lead. He's not going to have his easy button anymore. He's going to have to scan the field a little bit more. He's going to have to play to an upper level. I believe there's going to be growing pains at the beginning of the season. Unfortunately, we get absolute worst draw for the first 3 games. And you know what? That's okay. Because we have Deshaun Watson. As long as we have Deshaun Watson as our quarterback and he's healthy, Super Bowl, AFC Championship should absolutely be in the range of outcomes now. It really should be. There's no excuse otherwise. If he gets hurt, well, that's another story. But if he's healthy,
Nick Tiano, baby.
Nick Tiano, yeah.
Nick Tiano, baby.
If he's healthy, we should be upset if we don't make some noise in the playoffs this year. I've said it before. If we lose in the playoffs, it has to be like the Seahawks game, where it's just it's a gem of a game. You look at it, even though we lose, coming out more hopeful than we did going in. It's just got to be a back and forth great game where somebody has to win it, and that should be our expectation. If anything short of a Super Bowl, have an all-time classic playoff game, not a collapse.
Self-plug.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. Great answers. So next one comes from Emperor Bill Patine. He asked for my top 3, I guess our top 3 fantasy rookie prospects.
Count me out of this. I don't do fantasy.
Okay. I love fantasy, but unfortunately the Texans don't have anyone in particular who is really going to make it big in that, unless Isaiah Coulter becomes wide receiver 1, which you never know, might happen. But for me, top 3 guys, number 1's got to be Joe Burrow. He should be the top guy. The Bengals have surrounded him with plenty of weapons in AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, and now even T. Higgins. So he has the weapons. The O-line isn't amazing, but it has some pieces. It's really just about the scheme, putting everything together. And I think Burrow's a special quarterback. He's not going to be lighting the league on fire. He's not going to be an MVP, but just by the nature that he's a quarterback, he's going to put up numbers fantasy-wise. In terms of number 2, I'd probably go with one of my favorite guys in the draft, wide receiver Jalen Reagor. Going to the Eagles was a great fit for him. They're going to scheme him open a lot better than TCU could. Wentz, he's a solid quarterback. He's not elite. We're not going to get into that debate today. Definitely Watson over Wentz. But anyways, he's going to be able to find Reagor, and I think he's going to eat for sure. And then the last guy, and this really pains me to say it, but running back Jonathan Taylor for the Colts, that was one of the most perfect draft fits and the one of the most heart-wrenching for us, because the way they run the ball, he's just a perfect scheme fit for them. Their O-line, him, and the power run game, he's going to put up numbers for sure. He's going to kick Marlon Mack out of the starting rotation, and he's going to put up numbers. So those would be my top 3 guys.
Pretty much for me, my answer depends on how. If we're talking about most points scored, of course it's going to be Burrow. Quarterbacks just score more points than everybody else.
Yeah.
Dynasty versus redraft. If it's Dynasty, it's got to be Jonathan Taylor. I believe in Dynasty, you try and grab running backs early, especially guys that can contribute quickly. Running backs usually contribute a little bit quicker than wide receivers. Jonathan Taylor is unfortunately in the absolute best spot, and it makes me sick. Followed closely behind by Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Going to the Chiefs and being the starting running back for them, he's going to score an insane amount of points. And probably DeAndre Swift is kind of like my third. This is all Dynasty. Again, top running backs because they contribute sooner. Just going to the Lions, he's got a position pretty much already marked for him. And he's a very good running back. He's comparable to, him and Nick Chubb were pretty much 1A and 1B when they were both at Georgia. You look at what Chubb has done in Cleveland in 2 years. Swift came up right behind him. He's a great player, so him going to the Lions and he's going to get force-fed the ball, it's going to be a great fit for him. If we're going for redraft leagues, I usually don't take running backs that early in redraft leagues, but I would still probably take those over the wide receivers this year. It was a very deep wide receiver class, but I don't think any of them are like that wide receiver 1, score a bunch of points type guys. But yeah, Joe Burrows is definitely going to score the most points out of everybody.
Yeah, for wide receivers, I really wanted to go Jerry Jeudy, but I just don't really believe in Drew Lock too much just yet. And then Cody Mullins asked, no CeeDee Lamb top 3. I love CeeDee Lamb. The problem is that he's going to be wide receiver 3 on the Cowboys. Amari Cooper's going to get touches before him. Michael Gallup's going to get touches before him, and they're still going to feed Zeke the ball. So it's just by nature of he's just not going to get a lot of touches. So that's unfortunate.
Judy, they just run into a place. They're both in positions where they don't have a lot of target volume to expect. Denver's got a lot of people. Of course, the Cowboys have an insane amount of people. I would think that CeeCee Lamb would do better than Judy, just because I don't trust Drew Lock. I don't trust him at all. But I mean, do you trusting a Cowboy, trusting Dak? I mean, that still feels, that still doesn't feel right. But CeeCee Lamb, probably going to be the top 5. He'll probably be the top producing wide receiver out of the rookie class. But I wouldn't think that any of these rookies are gonna win you championships this year.
Yeah, that's a great point. There's always going to be that random gem who got drafted in like the 4th, 5th round that will be like the Kareem Hunt or whatever of that year, but it's hard to predict that. So on to the next question from my guy Gorka. What would be your ideal rotation of outside linebackers and defensive line? And so I'm assuming we're going to talk about us as a 3-4. So for interior defensive line first, I'd go, I guess, Brandon Dunn at nose tackle. I think he's actually pretty underrated. I don't think people give Brandon Dunn the credit that he deserves. He was playing nose tackle more than DJ Reader was for us last year, holding down double teams. He's not going to make a lot of tackles, but he lets Zach Cunningham run free, so he helps him.
Run game as DJ Reader. DJ Reader had a little bit more juice as a pass rusher. Dunn just as effective at run stopping.
Yep, exactly. So with the next 2 interior positions, on the other side of the nose tackle, you got to put JJ Watt in there. He's going to start. And then on the other side, I'm going to go with Ross Blacklock. It'll be between him and Timmy Jernigan. If Jernigan plays like he does when he's healthy, awesome. You can kind of take Blacklock a little bit slower in his development. But Blacklock brings a lot of talent to the table, and I think he'd be a great fit in a 3-4 defensive end for us. And then, so that's the interior. For the outside linebackers, I might be a little controversial here. One of them is going to be John Ballard, rookie. I really like him. He's a complete player. He's a 3-down linebacker from day one. I think he was one of the most day one ready outside linebackers in the draft. Strong in the run game, great in the pass game. He might not be the greatest athlete, but he gets the job done with his technique and his timing, and that's really going to translate to the NFL. And then I had to do it for my last outside linebacker spot. It's not going to be Whitney Merciless. It's going to be Jacob Martin. Oh. He's going to come back from the offseason, put on 10, 15 pounds, get stronger, have more power to his game, be a full 3-down linebacker, and he's going to make a big-time impact for us. I could rant all day about him, but I'll leave it up to you guys. Yes, Cody. Screw you too.
Absolutely love Jacob Martin, but I think I'm a little optimistic here.
Okay, so I'll start on the inside. Jernigan and Dunn. I think so we can't alternate them out. So it'll be JJ one side, and I think it'll be a combination of Omenihu and Blacklock. And then I think Jacob Martin gets the start opposite of Witt. And then I think that it'll be Witt on the other side. But I think eventually we'll see that I think we're going to see it'll either be Gennard or Martin opposite of Whitney Merciless, but I don't see Merc coming off the field, just given the extension and money, and also just really what you see from Whitney when JJ's on the field. When Witt is lined up next to JJ, he tends to eat. He had 4 sacks, in I think it was 3 games last year, the first 3 games. So when JJ's on the field, this guy plays out of his mind, and then when he's not in the field, he just disappears. So. I would love to put JJ inside, but I just don't see it happening. And we've had some conversations about it in the Texans Unfiltered Slack. Can't get into the details, but JJ's not moving inside. So, sorry, Houston Texans talk. You obviously didn't watch the first 4 weeks of the season last year. I think he had 3 forced fumbles too in the first 4 weeks. He was a monster. Everybody was talking about, this is why we got rid of Clowney. That's all I remember seeing. But so that would be mine.
Pretty much, it's Merciless is still going to be out there on the outside. He's going to be rotated with Jacob Martin. I think that this will actually save them, but they'll both have a little bit more juice because of that. Of course, JJ, the other outside. Grenard was essentially between Grenard and Charles Omenihu. Both of them are there to cover for JJ when JJ does JJ things. That's what their games kind of look like, especially with Grenard when they talked about him at what he did at the Senior Bowl. He just fits in as that outside linebacker that we need behind JJ Watt, so JJ Watt can do JJ Watt things. Charles Omenihu, same thing. He's there kind of as the interior presence to allow JJ to do JJ things. With that, to me, Dunn is, of course, he's going to be the nose. He's going to be the zero tech whenever we play a 3-4. I think we're going to, based on the build of the guys that we have, we're going to play, we weren't playing as much 3-4 as we have in the past anyways. It was still our base, but it's going to be, I think that our front's going to be a little bit different. I think that there's going to be more of a rotation than we've ever had in the past because you look at some of the guys that we have on the edge. Like we don't have superstars on the edge. Jacob Martin's not a superstar. Duke Etchefor is not a superstar. Grenard won't be a superstar. Merciless, I mean, he had the numbers for a little bit, but let's be real. Merciless can't carry a defense on his own. So there's going to be a lot more rotation. And then with Dunn and Blacklock inside and JJ inside and Omenihu working inside and Timmy Jernigan ever passes his physical, working them inside, it'll be more of a rotational type thing and more situational. A lot more speed up front than we've had in the past. I am a little bit concerned about our ability to stop the run because there's not as much depth as there is been in the past, but it's a good thing. We've got two really good linebackers at stopping the run.
Yeah, just like you said, John, it's really just the most depth we've seen on the D-line since forever. And I like that we kind of have some specialists. Like we have the run stoppers and Dunn in Grenard, he's a great run stopper. And then we got the pass rush specialist in JJ, who he's kind of taking some time off in the run game, but that's fine. And then we got Jacob Martin too. And then you got like your all-around guys like Whitney Merciless, Charles Menhu. There's just a lot of different skill sets on the D-line, so that's great to see for sure. I think that's all I got for the questions.
Awesome. Well, Jordan, thank you for being with us tonight. You might as well chill while we finish out the rest of the show. So awesome. Positive vibes only. We're trying to do whatever we can for small businesses. So we'll be sprinkling in little parts throughout this podcast tomorrow as we release it for some of the small businesses that we talk to. Thank you guys for taking time to talk to me. I hope that we can send some business your way. We appreciate you guys just for everything you do. We know you've been impacted during COVID-19. So whatever we can do to help, let us know. Shout out to Cody Alder, JB Buff Bell, Nacho Debro, and Chad Widmer. All these guys have been here from the beginning. Well, minus Cody, sorry. Cody's been here for about 1.5 years, but everybody else has been here from the get-go. Nacho, you know where you stand with me, brother, and Chad, obviously the same. JB, I don't know you as well as I know the other two, but you've been here for a long time too, so thank you for that. I'm so happy to be able to revamp the Patreon and get you guys some good stuff coming. So that'll be out tomorrow for any of you guys who are Patreons. If you're not, make sure you guys go to the Patreon page and show us some love. We'll make sure we show it back. Thank you for your continued support. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at HoustonFBPod. You can find me on Twitter at IamYoungAriGold. That's IamYoungAri Gold. Don't forget to follow, obviously, our contributors and just everybody that's on the team. But, Jordan at Texans_thoughts on Twitter and Texans_draft on Twitter. These guys are really giving you guys the content throughout the week. They're a big part of what we're trying to build, and we couldn't do it without them. So, and make sure you guys click like and subscribe on YouTube. Make sure you guys subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. We're everywhere. Just search Texans Unfiltered. And with that being said, I am Young Ari Gold signing off for Texans Unfiltered. We'll catch you guys next year or next week. Not next year. We'll be here next week. We'll still be here next year.
Hopefully
too,
next year, yeah.
Well, we'll be here next year. In 5 years, we'll do it. All right, and that's it.
We're going to do kind of a Patreon preview show.
What's that?
This show, we're going to do it as a Patreon preview. So just kind of a taste of the type of shows we're going to do for Patreon. They want to stick around.
Oh, we are?
Yeah.
I thought we were doing it, but just not live.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I think everybody thought.
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll do it that way. All right. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate that. Bryant, Chad, Giovanni, everybody that has been in the stream. Thank you guys for the comments. We appreciate you guys. This was a great crowd. We'll see you guys next week.